On Capitol Hill today, the pros and cons of reverse mortgages. At a Senate committee hearing, lawmakers drilled down into the controversial and widely advertised loans, looking for ways to better protect consumers. In a reverse mortgage, a lender pays money to the homeowner, a portion of his or her equity, but the borrower has no monthly payments. The loan plus interest is paid back after the home is sold or the homeowner dies or moves out. Our guest tonight says there are risks and rewards to these special mortgages with a twist. He's Vern Hayden, founder and president of his own money management firm, Hayden Wealth Management. Good to see you again, Vern.
Thanks, Tyler. Good to see you.
Now, these things are controversial. They are, as we mentioned, widely advertised to people ages 62 and older. You are cautious about them. Let me put the question this way. Who is the ideal candidate to take out one of these loans?
Yeah, I really have mixed emotions about this because you're talking about older people incurring debt at a really weird time in their life. And people have to keep in mind that there's two kinds of debt, constructive and destructive, and reverse mortgages have the potential for being each one of those. Very constructive for people who need to close the gap on their income and supplement Social Security to add to it so they have a decent lifestyle. So I think it's for those people who carefully plan to use something like a reverse mortgage and not turn it into a destructive thing, which is like an ATM machine or like a credit card, because a reverse mortgage can be set up to just draw on it whenever you want with any amount of money up to the limit.
Vern, for people who do fit the profile that it's right for them, how can you give us 2 tips on what they should or shouldn't do so that they don't get burned? Because we do see all those sales pitches on TV all the time.
Well, there's an old-fashioned statement that says short-term decisions have long-range consequences. And here, people have to be careful about who is the owner and the borrower on this debt. Because if it's a husband and wife and only one of them becomes the borrower and that person dies, that loan has to be immediately paid off, and that could leave the remaining spouse hanging out there without anything except Social Security.
So you want to make sure, if you have a surviving spouse, that both of you are on the deed to the house and remain so, and both of you are on the loan. And if they tell you to take one name off, then that other person may have to sell the house to repay the loan. What, in terms of fees, do you need to look at? And I gather these loans, number one, have higher interest rates or mortgage rates than conventional mortgages do, and sometimes can be laden with fees.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And it was terrible in the past where some of these things were created originally, and it was like highway robbery. The fees were so much, but there's an origination fee, and that fee has a broad range depending on how you're getting the loan. And then the interest rate. And the interest rate is lower if somebody is older and if the house is valued at a higher amount. But people have to be careful. Those interest rates now can range anywhere from 5 to 7%. And sometimes even higher. So people have to negotiate and so forth. I think the safest way for most people to take a look at this is to look at the federal housing authorities along where they insure the loans, and they also make sure that every person considering this has a good counselor by their side before they commit to the loan.
Oh, that's really good advice. Vern, you do give advice all the time to your clients. So let's say you have a baby boomer, still on the young side and needs to have some financial help with bills or debt or whatever. If not a reverse mortgage, what advice do you give?
Well, in the first place, you got to be 62 in order to take it. I know that's still in the baby boomer range, but I think they still need to do everything possible before using the reverse mortgage at that stage of the game. And they should be working with somebody that will help them plan, run out scenarios. What if we do this? And what will happen if we make this decision versus that decision? They need some advice and some help from qualified people that may even charge them a fee to do that. But it's well worth it if it's a good person.
All right, Vern Hayden, thanks very much.